Hey everyone, it's your Korean girl itsjinakim and welcome back to my channel. So today's topic is about self-love and confidence and how to overcome depression, anxiety, and panic attacks. I am not a perfect person at all, and I'm still suffering from some mental issues. After watching this video, if at least one person can change their mind, then I think this video is successful. Okay, where should I begin? So I was born in 1989, so I am 30. So let's go back when I was a teenager. Yes, when I was a teenager, I was a really shy person. So when I was with some close friends, like 2 or 3 friends, then I was kind of confident, I think. So I could just hang out with them. But when I was with lots of people, like when I was in a class, then I was very shy. I was afraid to say hello to some other classmates because they are not my friends. I mean, I want to be close to them, but I was just very afraid. When you're in a class, sometimes the teachers, they ask some students like, tell me your opinion, or read some sentences, something like that. Like reading some sentences in Korean is not that difficult, you know, but even that was very scary for me. A lot of people, they think a lot too, but me, I was a very sensitive girl, so I used to think about just so many things, like why am I here? Why am I living? What's the purpose of my life? Like a lot of things. I used to think about just so many things, and that made me quite depressed. Yeah. And that one thing really important happened to me in my life. Yes, there was one classmate. I really liked her. We were not that close, but she was kind of outsider. And I used to like outsiders because I felt like, oh, they are my friends. You know, I'm not an insider at all. So I thought that, oh, she's very unique, and she used to like animation and cosplay so much, so I felt like, oh, she's so cool. We used to talk about this and that, but we never talked something deep. Yeah, we didn't because we were not that close. And then I became the 3rd grade in middle school. Yeah, we were in different classes. It was just a typical morning. And then suddenly the students became really noisy and they started talking about something like death. And I asked my friend, okay, what is going on? And she said, you know her, she jumped out of the apartment and she died. At first, I really didn't know how to react. So I was just like speechless, and I just thought about her. Yeah, I could imagine her lying on the ground. They were talking about that scene very specifically. So to me, it was very shocking. And I still remember we all went to the funeral all together, all the students, yeah. And then the teacher, she was crying really hard. And then I saw her family at the funeral, and they looked really sad. And I think I cried too, but I couldn't really cry that hard because I could see their family, you know. So if I cry really hard, then the family, they would feel really sad. So I didn't want it to make them feel that. Yeah. And you know, when someone kills herself, everybody wants to know the reason. And I heard one of the reasons is that she was bullied in the school. And I never knew that before. Yeah, I just thought that she's a bright person. But one moment, I still remember that one moment. She was just passing by, and I didn't know if I have to say hello to her because we are in a different class. And she looked very sad at the time, so I just decided not to say hi. But I regretted that moment just so many times. Why didn't I say hello to her? Why didn't say like, how are you? Why do you look sad? Something like that. I could say that, right? That could change everything. So I dream same dream every day, and it made me crazy. So when I go back to my school, she was alive, and I was very surprised, and I wanted to stop her killing herself, but the same thing happened again and again and again. I couldn't stop her. So I think I felt very guilty for not knowing she was bullied. You know, even though the same thing happened to everyone, everyone takes it differently. So I guess my friends were okay. I don't know if they were really okay or not, but for me, you know, I told you I was a very sensitive girl, so I used to think about that every day and night. Yeah, I just kept thinking about that over and over again. Since then, I became very depressed. Yeah, I had depression. I just thought about her killing herself, and then I thought about killing myself too. I just didn't know the purpose of living, because we always have to just study and study and study. And I read a book, and it says that the depression of teenagers is a little different from the adults. The teenagers, if they are suffering from depression, they get easily upset, and they get very irritated, and they say something bad to their parents, something like that. But you know, so many people, they just take it like, oh, they are like that because they are teenagers. But no, that's the sign of depression. And I really didn't talk about this depression and suicidal things to my parents or my sister and my friends. No one else. I was always lonely, and I was always sad, and I was always depressed. Yeah, I don't know why. And so many people, they misunderstand about depression. So I feel gloomy today, I feel blue today. Yeah, everyone can feel that way, right? So they think that, oh, you can overcome it. It depends on your mind. You can just change the mood. You can meditate or something, just watch some good movies and listen to some fun music, something like that. But no, depression as a disease is a whole different thing, okay? So you cannot just overcome it by changing your mood, you know? By changing the music, by changing what you watch, by changing what you read. No, you cannot just change it. And sometimes depression just comes to you without any reason. Depression is about your brain, so you need to go to a hospital. But at the time, I didn't know about that, and hospital was my last option. I never thought about going to the hospital. I thought mental hospital, that's for only crazy people. And then I somehow grew up, and I became in early 20s. And then I was just going to my university. You know, I was living in Incheon. I'm still living in Incheon, and my school was in Seoul. So I had to take subway, and it takes about 1.5 hours every day. Like going there, 1.5 hours. And yeah, round trip, 3 hours or 4 hours total. So it was a quite long trip. And one day I was on the subway, and then I couldn't just breathe. There were just too many people. It was too crowded. I felt like I'm gonna die. Yeah, that's when I first experienced panic attack. So I was very shocked. Okay, I have depression, and then now panic attacks? Come on, please, what's wrong with my life? So I really thought about quitting my university. So I wanted to take a break. So I took a break, like 3 or 2 years from the university. I felt like, okay, I think I need to do something in my life. Because I'm not good at talking in person, I decided to just do something online. So I started my blog channel, and I started to write my own fashion column, and I started my own online shop. That's when my personality changed a lot. And I had to talk to some wholesalers, you know, and they are very strong. It was really hard to deal with those people, and I went through all the failures. Yeah, because my online shop, it failed, of course, because I didn't know about marketing and business at all. So of course I failed. But I still had the depression thing and panic attacks and anxiety stuff. One day I realized that I really need a help. Still, my parents and friends and everyone else, they didn't know about my mental issue, but I felt like, okay, I'm gonna die. So I really needed a help, and I just searched it online, and I got to know that there's a government support system. So I visited there by myself, alone, and they were like, hello, who are you? Why did you come here? Something like that. So it seemed like no one else really visited there. Yeah. So anyways, I was very frustrated because I was expecting that they could help me, but they couldn't. Instead, they gave me some list of hospitals. And you know, at the time when people say like, I have depression, I go to a mental hospital. If somebody says that, then they just judge you and they don't want to become friends with you. And the big companies, of course, they're gonna see all of your documents and they're gonna judge you like, oh, you are a patient, so you cannot work at our company, something like that. So I was afraid of losing my job. I mean, losing my opportunity to work in a big company, you know? And even though I was doing the things that I really liked, I wanted to kill myself. Yeah, I was very suicidal. I don't know why. There was no specific reason. I was just depressed, and yeah, I think that was the reason. Yeah. Anyways, I knew that something was going on, in my brain, and I needed a help. So finally, I decided to go to a mental hospital without talking to my parents, of course, because I knew that they're gonna pass out if I say like, I have a mental issue. I was a very nice kid. She said, oh, it's really easy to raise you compared to your sister, like that. I didn't want to disappoint my parents and my family. Honestly, I didn't expect that they would help me, the hospital. Anyways, I went there and I met my therapist, and he was actually a really good therapist. We used to talk about just so many things. Finally, I got one person to talk about all the things that happened to me, and he wasn't trying to give me an answer. Yeah, he just listened to me. And I just cried and cried a lot. And he gave me some medicine, and it really, really helped me a lot, especially anxiety and panic attacks. So yeah, I'm still taking that medicine. So it's been almost like 7 or 8 years. It reduced my anxiety, drastically. So he had his own blog, and I got to read one of the posts, and he said something like, actually, I want to die. It means that I want to be loved. I want to get along with lots of people. I want to become confident. I want to love myself. Something like that. So I want to die doesn't mean that I really want to die. And I've thought about that. Do I really want to die? Do I really want to kill myself? Before meeting him, I tried, killing myself a few times. My parents still don't know about that. So you guys, it's a secret. Yeah. I wanted to cut my wrist, but I was too afraid. I was just too scared, and I failed. And I'm so glad that I failed. So that sentence literally saved my life. I asked myself, do you really want to die? Or what do you want? And the answer was simple. I don't want to be lonely. Yeah, I was just so lonely. I didn't want to feel lonely. And I wanted to become confident. And I wanted to make lots of friends. And I wanted to be loved by a boy. And of course, I've never had a boyfriend until I become 25. And I realized that, okay, I finally found the reason to leave. All the depression and those things, they are just illusion. It all happened in my brain, and it just brainwashed myself. I started to think that way, and then everything just changed. And then one day, my parents, they found my medicine, and there was that hospital name, and they asked me like, Gina, what is going on? Do you go to a mental hospital? Really? And you didn't talk about this to us? Like that. And then suddenly I burst into tears like crazy. So we were all together in my room and they asked me what happened, and I just talked everything to them, from my friend's death to my depression, anxiety, and panic attacks and everything. Yeah, I told them, and they cried a lot, and they were like, I'm so sorry, Gina, I didn't know that, and you needed our help and we didn't notice that, I'm so sorry, something like that. And my sister, she cried a lot too, and she told me a secret, a big secret, and it was actually a bigger secret than me. So I got to realize that everyone has their own secrets, everyone is sad, everyone is going through something. I'm not the only one. Even though they look happy, you know, all the celebrities, all the influencers, they look happy in photos, but you know, they will have some, their own secrets. So my family support, that meant to me a lot. It really changed so many things. I didn't have to hide anything to my family anymore. Yeah, it was really a good feeling. Yeah. And I started to smile again. Yeah, I was just stuck in my room, but I decided just go out. Let's go out and let's take a subway. Let's take a bus and let's go to a theater just alone. Me alone. It'll be fine. Yeah, you're not gonna die. Something like that. And I took my medicine, of course. And then I just tried a lot. I just took a subway without reason, and I was trying to focus on something else like reading or watching some YouTube videos, something like that. And at first I could stand only like 1 minute, and then it became 5 minutes, and then 10 minutes, and 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. So I still need medicine, but I can take a subway at least, and I can go to many other countries. So guys, now I don't want to say like I overcame every mental issue, something like that. No, I'm still living with my mental issues. I think I have no depression anymore, but I still have panic attacks and anxiety issues. Yes, but I just got to know the way to live with those disease. Yeah, I don't know if it's disease because nowadays it's very common. And one time at a university, I remember I asked the help to my professor that I have some mental issues and I feel like I cannot graduate from my university, something like that. And she was like, okay, I feel sorry for you, but never mention this to any students or any friends. Right now, looking back, she was such a bad professor. Why should I hide? Why should I hide that I have panic attacks? So I decided to change my mind, and I had a presentation, and in front of many students and in front of that professor, I said like, oh, actually guys, I have some mental issues. I have depression, I have panic attacks, and I have anxiety issues. Yay! And I'm going to the hospital. And I'm still struggling, but I'm trying to overcome it. Yeah, I said that in front of that many people, and then I felt much better. So guys, I think the first step is accepting yourself, accepting your status. Right now, if you feel like you are depressed, then you are depressed. And if you feel like I'm not confident, then you are not confident. If you are very shy, that's fine. That's who you are. It's okay to be shy. Okay? So accept yourself. That's the first step. And step 2 is finding at least one person to share your thoughts. It will just change the whole thing. So just say it to your friends or therapist or me or just anyone. But one time, guys, I talked about this issue to my friend, and she was really a close friend, but she just left me. Yeah, she decided not to become friends with me because she thought that I'm a weirdo. Yeah, so do not expect that everyone can understand your situation. But there will be one person who can support you, okay? And step 3, your family support. that's really important. I know it's really hard, and especially if that's your parents. I know it's very, it's very shy thing, but it's okay to disappoint them, okay? Disappointing them once is difficult, but if you make them disappointed just so many times, then it's fine. It's nothing. Step 4, just think like screw it, okay? Nothing bad will happen. The world is big, guys. The world is big. Just do not obsess with your grade or presentation or your job or your friends, something like that. There are whole lots of people in this world. Maybe at that moment you will feel like, oh my god, my life is over. I need to die, something like that. But no, it's not the end of the world. And when you break up with your girlfriend or boyfriend, yeah, it happened to me once, and I uploaded one video. I was crying like crazy, and I deleted that video because it was too cringy, and I regret it a lot. Like, why did I upload that video? Yeah, because now I know that that's not the end of the world. I'm happy that I'm single. I'm meeting this guy and that guy and that guy and this guy, like that. Yeah. Okay, so that's it, guys. It was quite a long video. I hope this video was helpful to you. And if you find your friend or your family or anyone else around you is suffering from something, then please share this video with them. I have my Instagram and other social media, and I do my live streams every Sunday. Yeah, every Sunday 10 p.m. KST. So please join my live stream, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I want to talk more about this kind of topics. Yeah, so please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.